All right, here we go. Welcome. It is the number one podcast. We are the podcast concerned with the journey from no one to number one. Let's go. What is up, man? Everybody jumping in on the Instagram, 34 Alper, the real Mike King, the official Gennaro Valdez, Bodhisattva Muhammad Lim, Einzelganger, D. Murney. Oh man, I'm getting a phone call. Everybody's wanting in on this right now. Gorilla Blanco, what's up? What's up, Gil? Good to see you, man. Codename Cody. Noel hates Jiu-Jitsu Moab. Good to see all you guys. Today, what are we talking about? We're talking about what it takes to build a business from the ground up. All right, so welcome. We're going to talk about the untold story of what it really takes to create a successful business. Okay, whether you are an aspiring entrepreneur or you are just curious, wanting to dip your toes in and figure out this journey. If you want to get involved in building a business, this podcast is for you. So let's start at the beginning. The early days. So when you are building a business from scratch, and this is why a lot of people go into franchises, by the way, because it's not easy. You'd rather, or affiliate, like I have the affiliate program with Scientific Wrestling. I already spent 20 years building the business, building a kick-ass brand, was surrounded by the number one leading best guys on the planet. You don't have to do all that. That's the same with a franchise or an affiliate like CrossFit, Scientific Wrestling, whatever. So when you are building a business from scratch, you are going to face a lot of challenges, man. It is not easy to start something from nothing. Okay? But what separates the successful entrepreneurs from those who never make it, which is the vast majority, the statistics back this up, that difference is really the ability to persevere through tough times. Building a business requires an insane amount of grit and determination and grind. It is not for the faint of heart. This is why I, in particular, love building businesses with people that have come from a wrestling background. Grit, persistence, being tough, determination. Does that make sense? It is hard. Dude, what are you going to do when the next bullshit lockdown thing happens? How are you going to pivot? How are you going to pay your bills? How are you going to buy your kids the things they want? It's brutal, dude. It's brutal when stuff like that happens. Even now, in a bunch of my businesses, I keep hearing all this bullshit about the recession. Oh, I can't pay my bill because of this and that and the other thing. The only excuse you take is because it's an excuse you make yourself. I pay my bills. I pay my bills in hard times and in good times. So I got no problem when it gets hard to be like, well, I pay my bills. You need to pay me. We made an agreement. I did the work. Those are hard conversations to have. So a lot of people don't want to do that, right? I mean, I remember when I was first starting out, man, setback, mistake, rejection. So many days when you want to give up. I mean, when Billy Robinson died, I actually gave up. And it was because of my wife and because of my good friend and Scientific Wrestling elite coach, Sam Creston, that I didn't give up. So I'm just being real with you. Okay. But guess what? I kept going. I had a clear vision and I was not done. A clear vision of what I wanted to create. And I was determined to make it happen. Everybody has bad days, but I've been doing this for 25 years or something ridiculous. Okay. How many? That's thousands of days. I've had one or two bad days where I was like, but you can't give up. That's what it takes to succeed, right? You have to have an unwavering focus on your goals, even when the road is crazy, ridiculously rocky, right? So as you continue to grow and you persist and you muscle through some of this with your grit and your determination, your persistence, you're going to have new challenges constantly. I was telling my wife this because she was getting overwhelmed with the pressure on stuff. Because, sometimes you'll be running a business and then you make a bunch of new sales. Let's say you run a service business. You make a bunch of new sales and then you have staff that you either have to fire or they get another job. And now you have to basically deliver on this massive deal you just sold. But some of your people aren't there. So you don't actually have the bandwidth. I mean, it takes so much crazy, ridiculous creativity and grit and just committing to solving the problem and not letting yourself get distracted. Okay. So you're going to face new challenges. You got to learn how to hire. You've got to learn how to fire. You've got to learn how to raise capital, whether that's debt or maybe it's an equity offering. You got to do product development, service development. You got to learn how to manage the growth of your company, right? This is what happens to a lot of people. It happened to me for years and years. You hit a certain plateau and then you don't know how to go above that, right? Because it's a whole different game. The sale is different. The servicing is different. Okay. But guess what? And this is what I tell people. This too shall pass. The bad times will not last. And the good times won't last. So you just got to be in it no matter what. This is just like wrestling. If you are actively game and pushing, when you start out, it's like a bell-shaped curve. You guys know what a bell-shaped curve is in statistics? When you start out, you suck. And then you start acquiring skill and wins and learning from your mistakes, and you start doing better and getting more and more wins. And then once you get awesome, you start getting old. And then the losses start coming back again, right? So when you look at it, there's going to be losses and there's going to be wins. And you got to be in the game no matter what. In it to win it. Okay? The good news is, if you've made it to the point where you are now running into different problems, not the problems of starting, but the problems of growing, guess what? You've already made it this far, man. You got what it takes. Keep going. I mean, I remember when my business was first starting to take off, man, I was growing so fast. I'll be honest, like the Mace Bell thing, that got away from me. That thing blew up so big and I was stretched thin. Because I was like, well, all I could do is just focus on one thing. And I didn't realize what I needed to do was scale. And because of that, people stole it out from under me. That's my fault, not theirs. I'm actually stoked because they did the shit that I wasn't able to do. Where I'm bummed out is I didn't get a piece of the fucking action. And some people are like, oh, you deserve it. I'm like, well, maybe, but I wasn't there. And I mean, you could say whatever, make up excuses, but I didn't set up the contracts. I didn't do the things. I didn't have the people there. That's the reality of it, man. Okay. So if you're growing incredibly fast, you've got to figure out what are the ways that I can handle this kind of growth. You've got to learn new skills, right? Because with the growth comes new challenges. I had to hire people, fire people. I had to learn how to lead. I had to learn how to raise money. I had to learn how to innovate to constantly stay ahead of everybody. I had to be willing to get in there and fight when I see people, you all know who they are, but that are ripping our shit off. I got to get in the scrum, dude, because I'm sick of having that stolen and nobody else is going to do it. So, I mean, it's always growing. This is why I'm always like, man, if you're into personal development, like you actually want to become a badass, wrestling, and entrepreneurship. Okay. So just keep pushing. You cannot lose if you don't quit. Never give up. Keep fighting. Stand up because the journey is worth it. All right, guys, I'm not going to stay on here all day. Even if I had time to answer questions, I don't have a ton of time. We got a bunch of guys out on YouTube dropping stuff. Let's see. Anybody on Instagram? What's up, Instagram? Nobody asked a question on Instagram, so let's get to this. Wing Chun Guadalajara. Regards from Guadalajara, Mexico. Hey, thanks, dude. That's the greatest thing about this is all the international people. I get people from India, all over Europe and the UK. So cool. Carlos says, I had a vision and I'm not giving up. Number one. Yes, sir, dude. That's it, man. And you've got to learn to adapt and improvise. Like, dude, I had on my list of goals, I wanted to be a world champion. Guess what? Never fucking happened for me. I really bummed out. But, at the same time, freaking God nerfed me at the height. And it's just, I had to adapt. It was very difficult. And what was even more difficult was actually retiring from active, just even playing around wrestling because of the severity of my injuries, man. That was brutal because so much of my identity was wrapped up in doing that kind of thing. Right. So, this is why even if I hit my target is to have $100 million invested. So I'm cash flowing enough off those investments that I can do whatever I want. That is my personal goal. It's a very challenging goal. I'm very, very far away from $100 million invested, very, very far. But that is my goal. And this is why, I see people that look forward to retirement. I don't want it. I've seen what happens to most people in retirement. What does retirement actually mean? To most people, it means, well, they have what they tell themselves, but what is the actual day-to-day? These people just get old and sit in front of their TV and watch TV all day. Go look at the average lifestyle of your typical retiree. Do a poll. I'm going to work till I'm dead. This is what I love about Grant Cardone. Grant Cardone, this guy at my age was substantially about where I'm at. I think he was a little bit ahead of me in net worth, but not much at 50. Very close. But in the span of 15 years, he's 65 now. The guy's gotten a net worth over $1 billion. That's so inspiring, dude. And he's not quitting. I work very hard. I've not met anybody else who works as hard as Grant. It's just, except young men who are wrestlers. So who else we got here? Emperor Charlemagne, 2023 stock market prediction. We had a record January, but most are forecasting that stocks will go down dramatically this year. Thoughts? I'm a young adult and looking to invest in stocks. Okay, so I've made a lot of money in markets, but I don't invest in markets for the long haul. I have really fully been convinced of Cardone's thesis about our real estate, and I think it is probably one of the best things that you can do. Now, if you are going to invest through the stock market, make sure you're doing it through a tax advantage vehicle, like some sort of 401k, solo 401k, IRA, Roth IRA, whatever, because the taxes are the biggest problem. Any gains you hit, if it's not in a tax advantage vehicle, you're going to lose 40%, right? I mean, it's just awful of your gains, 40% of your gains, right? So just take that right off. It's no good. However, there are plays that you can do. Now, they're very sophisticated. This is how I make money. I do what's known as spread trading on derivative contracts. So I trade volatility. And this might be a little bit ahead of where you are, but you could just look these things up. Spread trading, volatility trading, how to use options, how to use futures contracts, that kind of thing. I don't know if that helps. I am not bearish on the economy until the Federal Reserve lowers rates. What you guys don't understand is the entire system is completely rigged. And right now, I don't know how else to say it, but it seems like there's a war on small business. Through all this essential, non-essential bullshit of the lockdowns, destroyed, decimated so many small businesses. The statistics are staggering. And then now they raise all these interest rates and then they hire an army of IRS. It's like, It's very difficult right now. So predictions with the stock market. Yeah, I'm very bullish or very bearish until now. This is traditional and sometimes it's not always true, but there's a tendency for them to lower rates right around the election, right? So if the Federal Reserve Board likes the president, they want him to get reelected, they drop the rates. Then there's a boom. And, like that's going to be elections are coming up quick. So I have a feeling that the rates will come down, but you never know. I mean, they may not like Biden, and Biden's so damn old and senile, like they may not have a vote of confidence. So they just may keep the rates high, which is just destructive, man. What should really happen is there should be a fixed money supply, like what the promise of Bitcoin, honestly, have a fixed money supply or a supply that has a very predictable, slow rate of inflation baked in, which is what a lot of these cryptocurrencies have. And then when the money supply is steady, allow people to have competitive interest rates, man. So that's how it should run. So the supply and demand of money dictates what the rate is on a loan. And there's other things, other ways to get money besides loans. But right now, our system is built on debt. If you didn't know that, all money that's created is debt. That's how, like, when the Treasury issues Treasury bonds, that's a form of debt. The debt is what is paid, the interest paid on that comes from our taxes. You need to understand all this. I lay all this out in Endonomics, my book. Go to endonomics.com, like economics, but with the word endonomics. I lay it all out how it works. But our whole system is built on debt. So the one big giant freaking lever that these bureaucrats have is to fuck with the interest rates. And they are definitely jacking with interest rates right now. So until that changes, you could make a lot of money very quickly by shorting the market, by going short on index futures. I don't know if that helps you, man. Sam Barris, what do I think of Gota? I have no idea. I don't know what that is. The Emperor Charlemagne. I joined BJJ this weekend. Good for you, dude. First time grappling. Oh, man. I'm beating most of the gym with Fujiwara and Boy Robinson techniques. Yeah, I know. It's almost unfair. I take everyone down with a half ouch. Catch as catch can is like a cheat code. Man, I don't know what else to tell these people. And like I saw a video of Craig Jones, like teasing the catch guys and being sensitive. It's whatever, dude. Like, we are the elite. There's so few of us, and we're right. And you guys you're the butthurt ones. We're like this gigantic, the little tiny minuscule minority of people, and the techniques are better, and they're so much better. You guys got to all rip them off. And I get it, rip them off because they work, but can't you give credit, dude? Like, some of us been out here taking risks and not getting paid enough money for the amount of effort, So it would be nice. But yeah, Emperor Charlemagne, I love it, dude. Keep going, love it. Yeah, I would really recommend you get to one of our camps. You think you're killing it now? Come to one of the camps. That is the number one feedback that we've gotten in over 15 years is that people are like, holy shit, I went back and started beating all the black belts and stuff after one weekend. So I would check it out. Let's see here. Brazil here, coach. How long does it take to become a catch wrestling teacher? This is the thing and why I call our coaching catch program the individual camps. I call them an accelerator. Because you don't have to do this 10-year thing, dude. It's a function of your effort. I have had guys come in and literally within 6 to 9 months are some of my best coaches in terms of they understand the material, they understand the concepts, and then they're able to translate that and affect change in their athletes. I've had other people that aren't there. It's taken 5-6 years to get them good. It's kind of case by case. So what I will say is that the jiu-jitsu system is very easy to learn. Wrestling is not easy to learn. Does that make sense? Like, I could teach a jiu-jitsu guy wrestling in like 5 years, but I could teach a wrestling guy jiu-jitsu in like 6 months. Enough to where they're not losing, where they're now starting to win over jiu-jitsu. Do you understand? So I hope that helps. It's kind of case by case basis, but it's much quicker. And this is kind of the selling point that I'm making with our affiliate program. By the way, I'm super excited. We've got 2 guys in the pipeline right now. I can't reveal it, but from 2 guys with crazy, ridiculous wrestling resumes, state champs from very tough states that are going to come in. And these are the guys that I like are going to kill it. So to answer your question, if I have like these guys, they already are like state champs, NCAA, Division I, Division II wrestling guys. For them, I could probably honestly get them really up to speed in 6 months if they really put in deliberate effort, because they already understand the building blocks. Does that make sense? Somebody else, it ain't going to be a 10-year black belt thing. You're going to get in and we'll get you up to speed fast. So I hope that helps. Let's see here. Backup and playlist RBMS2 says, thank you so much. I'm not sure for what, but you are certainly welcome, sir. And Emperor Charlemagne is saying, thank you for the financial advice and econ lesson. I'll have to rewatch and absorb it all. Yeah, it's cool, man. I hope I can help you. Emperor Charlemagne, any camps closer to Ottawa or Montreal in the future? So here's another thing. And then I do have to jump because I got a 1:30. I got a meeting in 2 minutes here. We have historically done our camps just at gyms that wanted us to come, and we would offer an exchange. We'd say, look, you let us have use of your facility for the 2 days, and in exchange, we'll let you have 2 of your guys attend our camp. We'll promote your gym, all that kind of stuff. And what I have found is that worked okay, but it wasn't getting me the reach that I wanted or that Scientific Wrestling deserves. And what I feel I was shortchanging my mission of getting this out to 8 billion people. So what I have found is that we are now, especially in the last year, because we have this affiliate program, soon to have, I hope, our 14th here this month. In the last 9-10 months, we've been able to be killing it. But what I find is when we host our events at these affiliate gyms, they're invested. So I think going forward, only affiliate gyms are going to be having the camps. So what that means, what that's looking like for fall, is we're going to do Denver, Phoenix, and Orlando. And that is it. That is it. Because I've tried to take it out everywhere in the world to like help you guys, and then nobody shows up. I'm putting out the effort. I'm putting my skin in the game, and you guys aren't meeting me. I'm just being real. You guys all love to watch the videos and all that shit, and I get it because it's easy. But, I don't need people who can do easy things. This is wrestling. I need people who are willing to jump in the mix and really start kicking ass. So I hope that answered your question. I got to jump off, guys. I will check you tomorrow, hopefully. I've got to jet out to Vegas for a big podcast tomorrow, so I don't even know if I'll be able to do it, but fingers crossed.